I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty, justice. Reach your neighbors. Greetings again.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a trust officer at the farm station. Rather just be Yellow Springs. Down this down there.
I don't know where Yellow Springs is.
I guess that's what they're towards the danger.
Okay. I'm still just getting acclimated to Cincinnati. I've been there 5 years. So, I'm a Chicago native. Never lived outside of the So, pretty great state.
Yeah.
Every time you see a whole lot.
Good. Today's reflection will be given by Seth.
Would you bow your heads with me? God, we give you thanks for this beautiful day. Thank you for the food that we've just enjoyed, for this time of fellowship together, for this club, for the work that you've enabled us to do to enrich the community that's around us. We ask that you would bless our efforts to complete our mission. Help us to provide service to others, promote integrity, and advance world understanding, goodwill, and peace through our fellowship as business, professional, and community leaders. Would we each seek to live our lives according to the four-way test? Would we be truthful? Would we be fair? Would we show goodwill towards others and work for the good of all? Would we learn much today, and would we walk away blessed by this time together? And we ask this in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Seth. Yeah, I don't know if anyone has noticed or not, but the brass bell was polished and there was probably a nicer ring to it. I don't know if you noticed that or not. Greg Long made the comment that he thinks the last time that thing was polished was during his son's presidential year, which was about 5 years ago. So it's every 5 years we're going to polish that, whether it needs it or not. So, today's Rotary member highlight. This Rotarian has been the Director of Human Resources at United Titanium for the last 30 years. He has been with the club for 23 years, former board member, past president, 2-year co-chair of the antique auction back in the day, is serving his 10th year on the program speaker committee and is our current Rotary Assistant District Governor. This active Rotarian lives in Shreve with his wife, Teresa, and has 2 grown children, Nicholas, an engineer with the City of Cincinnati Water Department, and Stephanie, an environmental science major at Purdue University. He has hiked the Grand Canyon from starting at the South Rim and hiked over to the North Rim. Don Noel. Okay, a couple reminders. The September billing statements, everyone should have those by now. If you have not gotten one, come up and see me or Lynn and we'll take care of that for you. And that would have gone by email. So no paper statements. We're saving on postage, saving on paper. You should have gotten it by email. If you haven't gotten it yet, come and see us. And let's see, a couple notes on for service. The Alvan Wii tournament is coming up. The Youth Skills Clinic is this Sunday, November 3rd from 2 to 4 p.m. The tournament games, the actual games, College of Wooster games, is Friday and Saturday, November 22nd through the 23rd. So plenty of time to buy your tickets there. And the food drive that goes along with the Alvan Wii tournament that benefits People to People Ministries. We are collecting canned goods here at the church through the end of November to benefit people to people. Community flag program is winding down. We do need volunteers for next year for the computer team, the first response, formerly troubleshooting team, flag maintenance team will be starting up here soon, and the flag marketing team. And if anyone has any interest in those areas, come and see me. Also this month, the elementary school Rotary dictionary distribution is taking place. That is happening, and we're also starting to organize the Salvation Army bell ringing at Bucky's Milltown. So those sign-up sheets will be coming out to you, and we got the Cushing Bueller's Milltown location that's semi inside, so as well. So with that, I will turn it over to Secretary Lynn.
Thank you, President Tom. We will start with introduction of our guests. Jennifer Schatzer.
My guest today is Katie Johnson. She's the HR coordinator for the library.
Hand off to Hannah Viteri, either or one of you.
Secretary of the Exchange Center of Ecuador, and I'm gonna tell you about my weekend and my week, so I think something that one. On Monday, I lost my check, so our manager reviewed and I lost the check. Then on Thursday, Wooster played second playoff game. They won 3-2 the last play. Last 30 seconds, they won. It was a really good match. I phrased, I don't know why it's took over and I phrased. Then on Friday, last football game, 1-3. And it was good. I mean, it was against Louisville, I said right. And we have retired friends that are from there, and another friends that went back in a party of a retired friend. So we were with them, so it was good. I like it. We lost. Then on Saturday we went on another night. Was really good. I love that guy. They're really good. And we basically we did the pumpkin thing. I cut myself like 4 times. I did it too. Yeah, we're not good at that. It was my first year. And well, at least me, I wanted to watch a horror movie. The last time I watched it was very nice. I wanted to watch a good one, and we were discussing that like for 10 minutes. We wanted to watch Guns of the Third, but it wasn't DVDs. It was a lot of ads. It was like 20 minutes class. And said, okay, we're gonna watch Netflix. Then on Netflix, they start saying, let's watch a comedy one. No, let's watch a drama. Let's watch a love one. I said, we're watching housing. So I don't know. I really watched that one. It was bad again. Then we went like all to bed, like around 1 AM. I couldn't sleep, so I went out to the restaurant and I started exploring by myself the forest. It wasn't that bad. Then I came back. It was really cold. Don't do it. And then we woke up on Sunday. Friends brought us here. It was a really long drive. And then we had dinner with some friends from my family. And I played FIFA with my host brothers. I lost in both. But yeah.
Is anyone new today? I don't have to introduce myself. Yeah, I'm Hannah, an exchange student from Uganda. Um, My weekend was not successful. It was just an overnighter, but I did have fun. I had so much fun. Yeah, we carved pumpkin, and I cut myself only once. I don't know how many times. And mine was amazing. I made those like long eyes and long mouth and nose. I thought it could breathe. I thought it was talking to me. Yeah, it was cute. It was my first time and I really enjoyed it, but I did not enjoy picking up the bugs. It was so slimy. It was so gross. I had had chocolate because like it was like 32 degrees there. Well, like in the middle of nowhere. So there was no internet, there was no, well, the Wi-Fi was there, but we figured it out later on. Yeah, we watched a movie, a Halloween movie. It was not scary, it was more of annoying. Yeah, like some things are like so obvious. Like this kid was in a car instead of staying in the car, he went out to look at what happened. Like some people just do things and you know what comes next. And then yes, on Friday, I remember the football game we said. We were versing Louisville. We have exchange friends from there, and we lost. Like again, like we always do. Like it's so disappointing. Like we hyping ourselves up before the game, and then we end up losing, and they're like, "It's okay, we have a next game. We don't have a next game this time." It's over. It's over. Even the college of Wooster. I don't know what's wrong, but I think it's just Wooster itself. I don't know, maybe. It was terrible. Like, we were so close to winning, and then they just said, let's just lose. It was 17-20, and then we lost. Anyway, that's not my problem. I don't pay for the games. I use a card, a stand card. So even if you lose, I will not be crying about the money I spent. Yeah, and my friends came for the game. We took very many pictures, and we had fun. Then over there we played board games, tops. I was on my phone most of the time. I was on my phone. And then we have. Oh wait, on Wednesday, I received my phone. I received my phone. That was about to cry. But then my friend gave me a ride home that day, and I was like so exhausted. And then someone just told me that they didn't have it. I was very happy. But it's also still acting like my other phone. It's not working. Yeah, like last night it did not charge. And then we have the annual day, November 15th, and some other days I do not remember. But you got it. See, you got it. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, all of you should come. It's gonna be very fun. Are you coming? Friends and family, you should all come. Okay, it's gonna be very fun. We are going to rehearsals every day this week and next week. And we're really working hard for it. We hope you guys come and actually enjoy it. Yeah. That's my point.
Thank you both. I think what you'll see up next is a photo of Sid and Jeff Palaska. We took their Paul Harris Fellow down to them last Monday after the meeting. They were extremely pleased and extremely honored. So thank you to the club and thank you to the generous donor who provided that Paul Harris Fellow. After that, you will see the nominating committee met last week. Thank you to the nominating committee, who was Kim Sayers, Peggy Schmitz, Tim Swift, and Courtney Yoder and myself. And we're proposing this slate that the club will vote on next week. As you can see, the proposed slate is Marty Starkey as your vice president, Dr. Nick Cascarelli, Melanie Garcia, and Bonnie Ferguson Hall as your next set of board members. So again, we will vote on that next week. A reminder, there are forms up here if you'd like to donate a Van Lee turkey, or before our speaker starts today, you can get on your QR code and donate that way. There is another form on your, or a flyer on your desk, Building Futures. That event is tonight. You'll see several local businesses featured. If you need a Veterans Day form, you can see John Scott. He has plenty of those. That would be for Rotarians that are veterans or veterans that are in their family. So that would be important to see. Update on Steve Webster. Several of you have asked. From what we know from the end of last week, he is in Worcester Community Hospital Transitional Care, floor 2, room number 13. He does enjoy visitors, although they do rehab throughout the day. So, and also Jill Monroe brought a card that's being passed somewhere around the table. At the end of the meeting, if you could get it back to Jill, and if you haven't had the opportunity to sign that and would like to, then please see Jill after the meeting. Thank you very much. President Tom.
Thank you. Okay, again, welcome guests, Rotarians. Hope you enjoyed today's program. And please know that you are always invited back. At this time, I will introduce Kim Sayers, who will be hosting our speaker today.
Our speaker today is here on behalf of the Buckeye Book Fair, which there are programs on your tables with the list of authors who will be there. The Buckeye Book Fair event, the book sale event, is this coming Saturday, November 2nd, 9:30 to 4 at Greystone. The Buckeye Book Fair, however, is more than just a one-day event. And so with the focus year-round on literacy, there's a nice connection with Rotary, as literacy is one of our pillars in the service that we do. And timing-wise, the dictionaries are going out this month, right? So the Buckeye Book Fair does a variety of initiatives, or has a variety of initiatives year-round. Literacy awards, they do a student lit day, they hold a young authors conference, they do a Buckeye book camp for young authors. And currently there is a Buckeye book crawl going on that started last week and goes through several days this week, including several libraries in the county. I think I saw that there is a stop today, tomorrow, or the next day at Minglewood, maybe one at Spoon. There are a variety of different options. So for those of you that have an interest in that part or that aspect of the event. Our speaker today is Dave Moravec. Dave is an accomplished business leader with over 40 years of experience in a variety of industries, including educational technology and printing. He's a Chicago native, transplanted in Cincinnati. Dave's consultative approach to fractional sales management and Chamber of Commerce growth has led him to be in high demand as a respected speaker, storyteller, and entrepreneurial therapist. Dave currently serves as president and CEO of the Coleraine Chamber of Commerce in the Cincinnati area and consults with clients as a sales manager for rent. Dave recently embraced the new title, that of author, with his first published book, Echoes Across the Tracks, Life Lessons Through Unexpected Connections. Dave joins more than 100 plus Ohio-only authors featured at this year's 37th annual Buckeye Book Fair this Saturday. It is his first appearance in the book fair. And so today we have the opportunity to hear how Dave, a seasoned leader and successful sales and business consultant, found time to embrace life as a new author. Let's give a warm Wooster Rotary welcome to Dave Moravec.
Thank you so much for having me. This is my first time to Worcester. What a beautiful town you have. This is gorgeous. We may have to move.
I live in, just south of Coleraine. Yeah, if anybody's been to the western, suburban Cincinnati. We're just south of the Rumpke Waste Facility. If you go around Cincinnati heading towards, 71, 75 on the 275 loop. Our community does not have a quality hotel, and we have 60,000 residents. I'll repeat that, 60,000 residents, and we don't have a quality hotel. We're a bedroom community with many families that work outside of our community, so they commute into other parts of Cincinnati. And our Chamber of Commerce is only 10 years old. So Samira and I have something in common. And it's funny, we just didn't actually realize that we were both named Chamber of Commerce of the Year in 2021 here in Ohio. Us for being a small Chamber of Commerce with only 250 members, we could put everybody in this room for one of our events. And Samira's got 775% members across this community. What's different about our Chamber of Commerce is that we're foundational in nature. I was talking to the gentleman in the back, and I don't know that I got your name, but he's fourth generation construction business. And if you think about a Chamber of Commerce that's only 10 years old, we have foundational support. We have businesses that are just joining the Chamber of Commerce for the first time, when many businesses here in Wooster have been supporting the Chamber for about 125 years. So our jobs, our roles are completely different, Samira and mine. I'm foundationally starting new programs and new events for our community, and there's a significant difference in age between us. I'm on my way out, and she's on her way out. So the next Chamber of Commerce leader that comes into our community will have many more years to grow our chamber and to build the chamber. My background, as Kim had mentioned, is in business. I was in your shoes for many years running people and processes and the printing business and technology. And this is a late in life career change for me. And so is authorship. The book, which I'll share with you in just a couple minutes, happened just last Thanksgiving. So the project started last Thanksgiving. So put that in the back of your mind. I want to carry props with me. I brought a couple props. First is a Yankees hat. See, I knew this was going to play well into this. Nobody has any idea why I brought this Yankees hat, and that's why I'm here to talk about it. On the inside is a special inscription. It's autographed. You could win a copy of Echoes Across the Tracks if you could name who was signed on the inside, but we'll save that for another day. I'll tell you directly. It's a young man named Greg Allen. Anybody in the room know who Greg Allen is? Greg was drafted 6th round by the Cleveland Indians, and he made his way meteorically rise and fall through the Cleveland Indians organization. He led the minor leagues. In fact, he led all of the leagues one year with 79 stolen bases. Yeah, he's a good friend of mine, and he's now in AAA New York, hoping to make his way back up to the major league level, but he took an inside pitch on his hand and broke 2 fingers earlier this season. I also brought a baseball glove, a baseball mitt. And the reason I brought a baseball mitt is that I'm a catcher. I still actually play competitive fast pitch baseball. And I brought a medal to prove that I was 2nd place last year in the Roy Hobbs World Series down in Fort Myers. This year, I'm going to Fort Myers in a couple weeks to play with a team from New Jersey. And I'm taking my catcher's mitt. But why did I bring the catcher's mitt? Because when I call for a fastball and the ball's in the dirt, what do I have to do? I have to react. I have to respond. I have to go down to my knees. And every person in this room is thinking, you still playing catcher? Playing fast pitch baseball? How are your knees? Everybody always asks, how are your knees? Well, I caught 33 games this season. I'll catch another 6 games down in Fort Myers. And my knees are just fine. But the reason that I brought a catcher's mitt was that when I put a 2 down, it's a curveball. What is the batter thinking? They've got to react also. They've got to respond to the pitcher's decision to throw that ball. Meaning I've got to react as a catcher if the ball's in the dirt to go and block it. I've got to go down and keep the ball from going behind or keep the runner on base. As a catcher, we don't always get to decide what happens in the game. And in business, that happens to us all the time. We're planning for 2025 budget. We're planning for the sales season to come. We're planning for the production of something. And all of a sudden, something happens. A curveball is thrown to us, right? Customer cancels an order. Customer doesn't pay the bill. The customer doesn't do something, or something else happens. A key employee leaves your organization. The owner of the company has a heart attack or a stroke. Life throws us curveballs. And as a baseball player, I have to manage that on the field, but I also have to manage it in my business. My background, baseball, part of my life. But when I start to talk about success, and I think about success, it's not a straight line. Anybody in the room believe that success is a straight line? I don't see a single hand raised. That stuff that goes on in between is life. Those things that happen to us or with us, whether that's a broken family or a parent who's died too soon, a child who's died in your life, a significant other who's passed away, a job that you've lost because of no fault of your own. All these things happen. And I could stand here for hours and tell you stories about my life and where I started and where I ended up and the challenges that I faced. I grew up in a broken home. My mom was married 4 times. My dad was married 4 times. There's lots more to it, but I went to 3 different schools for 3rd grade. I went to 5 different schools, kindergarten through 5th grade. And public speaking is not my natural forte. In fact, I appreciate 2 young people from another country standing up and telling their story about this week. You should be applauded for that. Thank you. I do have some connections to Uganda, so if you want to see me afterwards, please do. 2 of my children have spent significant time in East Africa. I've got a good friend who's a missionary, and we support currently a project in Kenya, my wife and I. But success doesn't happen this way. And in baseball, how many perfect games have there been? 1956 was the last perfect and only perfect game in the World Series. And I'm not necessarily pulling for the Yankees. I'm not necessarily pulling for the Dodgers. My friend Greg isn't on the team. But I like to see a good game. And when we get in business, we want to see a good game. We want to see our employees thrive. We want to see our business thrive. We want to see a good game in front of us. But how we manage those curveballs or we manage those challenges, much like the baseball manager, determines the outcome of the game. My book, Echoes Across the Tracks, started in November of last year. In fact, it started on Thanksgiving. And I sat down, wrote an outline, and I started typing. And by the middle of Saturday afternoon, my wife said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I think I'm writing a book." And she actually said, "What? You're writing a book? You didn't say anything to me." I said, "Well, no, I really didn't." By the end of the Thanksgiving weekend, I had 10 chapters done. By the following Friday, the book was complete. True story, written in 9 days, 40,000 words. But I really wasn't sure what I was gonna do with it. We're gonna talk about that, and it'll probably conjure up some questions. But My reason for being here is because I was invited by the Buckeye Book Fair. As Kim mentioned, 100 authors around the state. It's a juried program. You have to submit your book. This is my book. It's mine. I wrote it. I self-published it through a hybrid publisher with a cover design and illustrations on the inside. It's mine. As a now Ohioan, instead of a Chicagoan, they allowed me to participate in this. And I will be back on Saturday. There's no books for sale here today. Please come out to the book fair. Support the local authors that are across the state. Support us that are giving back of our time and energy and effort and providing literacy to adults and to children. I meet a lot of business professionals that tell me, I don't have time to read. Well, the reality is readers are leaders. And if you take the time and energy to, whether it's my book or another book, I'll mention one in a little bit, take the time and energy to read. If you spend 15 minutes a day reading on a subject, 2 years later, you will be the most expert person on that subject in the entire country. But it takes time and it takes energy. These are some of the highlights of Echoes Across the Tracks. It was written in only 9 days. I had a professional editor. I had a series of 20 business friends that read the book ahead of time in order to develop a marketing plan and whether or not it actually would carry legs. There was professional artwork done for it. And when you get the book, on the front side, there are professional references. The author that gave the review that's listed there on the screen is a guy named Bob Berg. How many of you are familiar with the book, The Go-Giver? Anybody? At least one person. The Go-Giver Attitude, and Bob Berg has sold millions and millions of copies and multiple books following that series, including The Go-Giver Marriage, The Go-Giver Influencer, the Go-Giver for Salespeople. But Bob and a number of other people gave the book credibility. These are leaders. One of them was Tom Ziglar. You probably heard of a guy named Zig Ziglar. Tom's Zig's son, and he was nice enough to write the foreword for the book. That's no easy challenge to get a first-time author to have these kind of references. But I felt if I was going to put out a professional book, I needed to have a professional backing to it. I do all the marketing myself. I've been to numerous book fairs, book signings, local events. Later this week, please drop off your business card and I'll make sure that you get the link, or connect with me on LinkedIn. I will be doing a podcast on Wednesday afternoon, specifically about the book and this topic. But what I want to talk about this afternoon is a concept that I teach on all the time, and it's the concept called the flywheel. Those of you who have a business may be familiar with this model through Jim Collins and a book called a great game, not great game of business. Start me again. Good to Great, yes. Good to Great, chapter 8 on the flywheel. But this is a different model than Jim Collins spoke about. There's 3 components to it, 3 major key components: is attract, engage, and delight. And in today's marketplace, if we're going to engage people, we need to first attract them. Your Rotary here is attractive. You've got a wonderful lunch. You've got wonderful leadership. You've got great participation. If I were coming as a first-time Rotarian, I'd be going, this is great. I'm attracted. But you need to engage your membership. You need to provide quality speakers. You need to provide quality programs. You need to give people a reason to be involved in Rotary. And we in the Chamber of Commerce have a very similar challenge. We need to engage our membership. We need to find ways to market their business. We need to promote on their behalf. And if we do, much like a favorite restaurant. Somebody give me the place I should go to on Friday night when I come to town. What is it called?
City Square Steak.
City Square Steakhouse. How come I gotta go to City Square Steakhouse? Because it's great. But what's good about it?
Yeah.
Food, atmosphere, is the service okay? Oh, it's great. It's great service? Okay, so what do we have over here on the left-hand side? I don't even know your name. What's your name? Todd? Don. We have a raving fan. Don is a raving fan. How many, by show of hands, are a raving fan of this place I gotta go? Show of hands. All right. Everybody thinks I should go to the steakhouse on Friday night. Now, who's gonna take me to dinner? Somebody's gonna come up here, because I'm coming alone. Somebody here is gonna be nice enough to host me for dinner at this place on Friday night. You don't have to do it now, but come up to me afterwards and make a personal invitation.
I think it's probably a football game.
We got a football game to go to. My point is that, that you're delighted. You're delighted so much that you're gonna attract me to that restaurant on a Friday night. And that's important to know because, that restaurant owner doesn't know me. I could pick a restaurant off of Google. I could pick a restaurant off of any, search place. I probably would call Samara and say, hey, Samara, where do I need to go to dinner on Friday night when I come back? Because I'm gonna make the 3-hour drive back on Friday night to be a part of this, book fair on Saturday. Strong leaders have many characteristics, many qualities. I brought a book with me called The 7 Secrets of Responsive Leadership. I've gotten to know Jackie Jenkins Scott. She's from Boston, and she identifies 4 main characteristics that leaders have, qualities: curiosity, humility, empathy, and resilience. Given the time here, I don't have the ability to get into all of it, but what I do know is that you have the opportunity to pick up that book. You can go to Amazon, you can search it out, and you can find out those qualities and learn about those qualities and then potentially apply them within your business. All right, here's your test. Everybody stand up. I'm going to give you a scenario, and you're going to sit down when the answer you think is correct. I'm going to give you all the answers, and you get to sit down. You've got a house, and you're going to remodel your bathroom. Today, you're in Wooster, you got a house, you're going to remodel your bathroom. That's a typical thing to do. And you decide to call and leave 5 messages for 5 construction contractors. Okay, got the scenario? Question is, how many of those contractors are going to get back to you within a 24-hour period? So those that think it's 5, sit down. Those that think it'll be 3 or 4, sit down. Those that think it'll be 2, sit down. The rest of you, look at the room. It's filled with people that think that only 1 or none, go ahead and sit down. That think only 1 or nobody's going to respond to you. That's sad. But I've done that exercise with multiple groups of people, and the truth is that we really believe that, you know, maybe only 1 or 2 people are going to get back to us. And what does that leave us with? Potentially 1 person responding. And that's just for our bathroom. That doesn't mean a cell phone or another product or another service. That's just the one scenario that I gave you. Responsiveness today is so important. And that's what Jackie talks about in her book. She talks about responsiveness, and I teach it all day long to our chamber members. Because if you're that 1 person who's responsive, it's now your responsibility to sell that client on your service, as opposed to giving them a reason to potentially call somebody else. Because they're not sure whether your price is good or your quality is good or whether you can actually live up to the service level. And we know that people are checking us out online before, before they're actually calling us. right? If we look at the model for clients or employees, the idea is that we're trying to attract quality employees. We're trying to attract quality clients and then potentially engage them. And if we do, how would we go about doing that? If we're in fact responsive, people see that. The service level that Don mentioned at the steakhouse wasn't just good. And you guys know, because you were telling me, it's fantastic. It's a good place, great service. Well, don't you think that the leadership there instills that in the employees? And what would that mean for your business? What would that mean for your clients? What would that mean for your employees? And I teach this all day long. It means that they'll be around for a longer period of time. LTV is long-term value of that client. They're going to be with you a lot longer. Samira recognizes that those chamber members who've been around for 125 years have invested in your community and the Chamber of Commerce for a lot longer than those 10-year chamber members that are just starting with our chamber. The same thing holds true for our employees and our customers. And if we think about it in those terms, then we're going to all of a sudden take a different look and a different approach. And those are the kind of management and leadership conversations that I have with my consulting clients in my business, and with the chamber members that I have that are either struggling or looking for a different opportunity. It's why I wrote the book, quite frankly, that said, hey, there are lessons that young people like these two foreign exchange students would appreciate. There's many stories in there. One of them talks about the concept of do, drop, delay, and delegate. I talk about those all the time. Do, drop, delay, and delegate. Do the things that you're best at. Do the things that are most important for you to do within your organization. Drop those things that really aren't necessary. I mean, we spend tons of time on our small devices. We do things that we probably shouldn't do. So if we could drop those and delegate those things that somebody else can do better, and maybe lift them up to higher quality work, give them the opportunity to succeed by delegating. What was the last one? Do, drop, delay. Oh, delay, yeah. Put off those things that don't need to be done today. They can be done tomorrow. So that's in the book. My background information is in the PowerPoint. I'm sure that Kim will make it available to you if that's appropriate. I'm more than happy to provide it to you if you bring up a business card. I'm glad to put you on the mailing list for the book. I will go back to here and ask if there are any questions from the audience.
Could you explain the title?
Sure. Echoes Across the Tracks was the only part of the book that was done with artificial intelligence, with AI. The book was written in 9 days flat. And so I've taken a lesson from a guy named John David Mann, who was the co-author of the Go Giver book. And he suggests just writing your stream of consciousness. Don't write whether there or there is spelled correctly. Worry about getting the content down. And I spent that time in the editing and all that. But I didn't think about the title. I had a working title, which is actually the title in the chapter title in chapter 8. And that title was, if God gave you 30 hours, would you still sleep 6? And I have a talk specifically about if God gave you 30 hours, would you still sleep 6? And I've presented that on a number of occasions, and it just wasn't the right title for the book. It wasn't the center of the book. And so I actually fed the summary of the book, which, briefly, the main character is heading to the airport in New Orleans, And in fact, why don't I do this? This would be good. I've got it right here. This will play for you. I'll just read the opening of the book. Charlie came to a stop in front of the New Orleans Union Passenger Terminal on this hot and humid late June afternoon. Steamy days in the deep south were commonplace. This one just happened to include a chance meeting and travel pivot, both of which Charlie often embraced. Mr. Charlie, we are here at the train station. Can I help you with your bags? Charlie saw the price on the meter and couldn't believe it was only $19. It felt like an hour since leaving the convention center. Ora, who by the way is from Uganda. Ora, I have to hurry to catch the train. Thank you for the lift and for sharing this amazing story. We'll have to see how the train trip to Chicago works out, but thanks for the suggestion. Charlie graciously handed the cabbie a $100 bill and suggested they have a good dinner that evening. The two parted ways with a handshake that came to an embrace. Ora pulled Charlie close to his body and said, "You enjoy that train ride, Mr. Charlie. I will do as you suggest and have a good old-fashioned Cajun seafood dinner tonight. Thank you for allowing me to drive you." Despite his need to catch the train, Charlie paused to watch Ora drive away before starting his walk to the station. The two waved at one another as if they were best friends forever. Both smiled as they went different directions. Charlie noted the number on Ora's cab, 1978. He knew from their conversation that was the year Ora came to the United States. Charlie would soon discover how a cab ride in Echoes Across the Tracks came to change the course of one's life. That's the first 6 paragraphs. And I didn't have a title. So Echoes Across the Tracks came as part of a search online.
So you said you wrote it in 9 days. How long was your editing process? How did you feel after that editing process? Have you since joined any writing groups or that type of stuff that authors normally do?
That's great. First off, no, I haven't had any time to do anything else except market the book. Published April 3rd, so it was 4 months from the time. It went through initial editing from my wife, who was an English major, and she redlined it. And the only thing that was missing was a C- at the bottom of the paper. But if I had given it to my freshman composition professor, he'd have given it a C-. Professional editing was done by the 1st of February, and illustrations and all the work behind the scenes was done from February to April, first part of April.
Thank you. Appreciation for speaking with us, give you this rendition of the Rotary Wheel with the 4-way test on the back, made by the students of the Village Network.
Wonderful. Thank you so
Yep.
much.
Thank you. Okay, next week, Coach Klein from the College of Wooster is going to come in and just talk to us very briefly about the Al Van Wee Classic. And Doug Dershel will be hosting John Hopkins on the Gettysburg Reunion of 1913. So with that, we stand adjourned.
One other thing before you do leave, those who are in the room, check underneath your seats. If you find my business card, you'll have a free copy of Echoes Across the Tracks. Bring that up to me. There are 2 in the room, so maybe you're not, maybe your neighbor. Check your neighbors here.